We are here at San Diego Comic-Con 2024 with Bear McCreary. So, music is hugely important to the world. What about that do you think brings people together and makes everyone so just joyful?
Music is, to me, the one thing that everybody has an opinion on. You don't usually ask someone if they like music. You say, what kind of music do you like?
Yeah.
Same with food.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You don't say, do you eat food? Do you listen to music? Everyone listens to music. And bringing people together is one of the things that I've always loved about music. When I was a kid in high school, I would get together with my friends who would play guitar or play bass, and I would write songs, and I would figure out how their instrument works, and then I'd write something else and work with them. And I just repeated that, right? And it snowballed over the course of my life until 30 years later, after I wrote my first song that was recorded with a friend of mine in high school. I was 15 then, 45 now. I wrote a piece for guitar, and now that is out on the record that I just put out, the Singularity. The exact same piece, only instead of my high school buddy, it's Slash.
Wow.
Playing the guitar part. Because in that intervening 30 years, I just kept meeting new people and collaborating and bringing people together. And the Singularity was sort of the end result of all that, where I thought, well, why don't I just use music to reach out to the people I would want to work with? So I think music brings us together as listeners. For me, as a composer and an artist and a songwriter, it's brought people together on a whole other kind of magnitude.
That's awesome. When you're composing a piece, what do you have going on in your mind? Can you tell me how you visualize it?
I definitely have a feeling that I want to communicate. There's, to me, it's always about story and about narrative. So even like that piece I told you about, it's called Escape from the Machines.
Oh, cool.
It's called Escape from the Machines because when I was 15, I was imagining a cue from like a James Cameron science fiction movie,
Okay.
a future war where somebody's running from cyborgs, and it's like a cue from a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Right? And over the last 30 years, I've also done my fair share of soundtracks.
Yeah.
So I think to me, it's that story. When I listen to music, I like to feel like there's a story there. And that's what I start with. Whether I'm writing a song for myself or writing a cue for a game or a film or a TV show, it's like there's some emotion I want to communicate, and then I sort of dig into all the memories that I have and think, well, what can I do to make someone else feel this?
So cool. And when you're putting together the music, do you see the storyboard or do you see the gameplay, or how does that work for you?
It depends on what it is,
Okay.
right? I mean, I'm currently working on my first musical, like a stage musical.
so cool.
So, and it's based on a documentary called Particle Fever.
Oh, okay.
So it's about particle physics. It's about the discovery of the Higgs boson at the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. Perfect for musical theater,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, 100%.
But, in musical theater, there is very little to begin with because it's really driven by the music.
Yeah.
So I'm working with the book writer, David Henry Wong, and I'm working with my co-composer and co-lyricist, Zoe Sarnak, and we're shaping it together. That's the opposite of, say, scoring The Lord of the Rings of Power, where I do a lot of work in advance. I read the scripts, I'll look at concept art or whatever, but at the end of the day, I can't start until you send me an episode of television, and then I look at it and I write exactly what it needs. So that's what's fun about being able to work in all these different mediums, is that you have different starting points.
That's really cool. Well, thank you so much. It was really wonderful talking with you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Like your hair.
Thanks.
I am Rhea Yarbrough. Hello.
Hello. Awesome. So you have such a prolific background, and there's so many cool things that you've done. What about this project? I mean, obviously, I know that you and Bear are married, but what about this project made you feel so, what was it about this project?
It was Bear creating a new IP, which is something we don't see enough of. Everything is kind of based on something else, and he was like, nah, I'm going to do something new, and I was like, great. This is so refreshing. So, and I love that it's, something of cosmic interest. I love that it's a science fiction direction. I love that it's a very emotional piece of work, and I think it's very brave to be emotional. And so I thought, well, this is something I want to be a part of, because this is a brave swing right here, But then I kind of didn't know how I was going to be able to be a part of it, because it's a heavy metal record, and I'm totally not a heavy metal singer. But then we were able to find a song, kind of a sound that's a happy medium on the album. I shouldn't say happy medium. I should say kind of a complementary emotional storytelling moment, which kind of gets to the same emotional depths of the other song, albeit with a different energy. And it was really cool that he trusted me to write lyrics to Anti-Cathera Mechanism. And it was just kind of a fun journey to figure out what the voice of that contraption would be, what she would have to say for herself.
Okay, so that was my next question. Did he write the lyrics for you? So you were able to write the lyrics. How much collaboration between the two of you was there, or was it like you take the wheel and do your thing?
Honestly, he trusted me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because he's familiar with my writing, so he knew I wouldn't totally drop the ball. Of course I asked him, I was like, are these cool? I wouldn't just be like, you gotta do it, but what he gave me was, the melody and the harmony, so I had that to work with.
Awesome.
And I was setting the lyrics to the melody that he'd already written, which was fun, which was a challenge. I don't usually do that.
Oh, cool.
Because, usually I write all of my own music and all my own lyrics and do my own arrangements, and I'm very much kind of a lone wolf in that way. But I think, especially after doing this collaboration, it makes me want to try collaborating more, because it's something I just haven't done a lot of.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So music is a big thing for everyone. What do you think about music is such what brings people together with music?
I think we're all trying to be okay. And I know that's weird to say, but I think there's a lot going on in life. These times in this world are completely nuts, but even when times aren't completely nuts, just being a human being is such a roller coaster that I think we're all trying to be okay in whatever sense that means. Sometimes you want to be okay in your anger, sometimes you want to be okay in your sadness, sometimes you want to be okay in your happiness, and you want to find a vibration, and music is vibration, that matches you, that matches where you are. And so I think that's why everyone can find some music that works for them and that will take them someplace new, but also take them someplace familiar.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. It was really nice talking with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. I love your hair color.
Thank you.
I am Matias Vergara. I'm an artist, a comic book artist, illustrator from Uruguay in South America.
So we're talking about music today. When you're drawing and illustrating, do you have a soundtrack in your mind? Are you listening to music? How does that work?
I use all sorts of music. I'm not a fanatic, so I don't have a specific style that I like the most. I usually will listen to classic rock from the 60s, classical music, Bach, Japanese pop music from the 80s, contemporary 90s. A friend of mine once told me that my playlist sounded a little bit schizophrenic because it was way too varied, too much. Yes, it's funny. It's a musician's friend, and he couldn't understand why all of those styles I could enjoy, and it's because I don't know. I was brought in a very musical home.
Okay.
My dad's a musician, so I tend to experience music as it is, and it inspires me. Any style of music will inspire me to work, or it will evoke images in my mind.
That's beautiful. Do you have anything specific? Do you play any instruments, or is there anything specific that you kind of draw yourself to, or?
No. No. I have no specific instrument or style or whatever. I honestly enjoy different types of music, songs or instrumental, short or long form, whatever it is, soundtracks of movies.
Cool. Do you, how do I want to... My question just went completely away. We will cut this part out. Hello, yeah.
My question.
Yes, good hello. What is your favorite part about music?
Oh, man. Well, to me, I guess this will be a selfish answer. My most favorite part of music is the effect it generates on me. It's what it opens inside my mind and my heart, and the images it helps me create inside, and the feelings it gives you. If you have ever been moved by a part of a theme or a song, if you got goosebumps just by hearing a song, then you understand. That's that's the part I enjoy the most. I don't have a very cerebral take on it. It's just I love how music makes me feel, and I try to use that as a creative sort of input for my work.
Well, thank you so much. It was wonderful chatting with you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We are here at San Diego Comic-Con 2024 with Kyle Higgins. How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
So, how did you get involved with Bear? How did this project come together?
So Bear and I have been very close for over a decade at this point. We actually met at San Diego Comic-Con in 2009.
Awesome.
And I come from a writing and directing, filmmaking background. But for the last, it's been probably about 12 years now, maybe longer, I've been a full-time comic book writer. So I've written for Marvel and DC. I did a lot of work on the Batman line. And then I built out the Power Rangers line at Boom Studios and wrote the first 3 years of that, culminating in this big, massive event that spanned 25 years of Power Rangers lore and multiple mediums as well. We did a big promo live action short with the late Jason David Frank, a live action RPG game that was a component of the story as well. And so the multi-narrative approach is something that has always been really interesting to me. So I actually started my own, after Power Rangers, I started my own company called Black Market Narrative. And we've built out an original creator-owned superhero universe at Image Comics called the Massiveverse. And a lot of the books that we do there have this outside-the-box approach. So, for example, yesterday we just announced that our true crime superhero series, No One, which incorporates a comic book, it's a 10-issue comic book series that also has an in-universe scripted audio series with Rachel Lee Cook and Patton Oswalt voicing the two reporters who are talked into starting a podcast for the newspaper that's reporting on the digital hacktivist No One and this accountability killing movement. Yesterday we announced that the story is continuing beyond all that with a found footage superhero documentary. It's a true crime documentary that Brian Buccellato, the co-creator of No One, and I are both writing and producing, along with Steven Schneider from Paranormal Activity, Insidious, Late Night with the Devil, ZQ Entertainment, and Stuart Manishill, and I'll be directing.
Oh, cool.
So the film is both an adaptation of the comic and podcast as well as a continuation of the story, and it exists in universe with all aspects of the story, of the comic, of the podcast, the in-universe websites, the data drops, all of that.
Oh my gosh.
So a few years ago, as all this has been building and our universe has been forming, and the company has been starting to kind of take off, Bear reached out to me with the Singularity, and he really explained it to me as I'm going to do my version of a creator-owned book, which is I'm going to do this big concept album, this rock heavy metal concept album called The Singularity, and I really want to bring a story to the table here and build a graphic novel that goes along with it. So I brought in a writer that works in our universe quite a bit, Matt Groom, brilliant writer, brilliant mind, and Matt listened to the album and then built out a narrative that he built out a story that gives a narrative to the album itself in the track order about the death of a multiverse and reincarnation cycles as the main character is trying to get back to a life as he dies over and over again, a life that he can never return to, as existence itself is being wiped out. It's 15 different artists, all illustrating different chapters of the book. And again, each chapter corresponds to a track on the album. So it's been a long journey, a very all-encompassing journey, but a very fulfilling and rewarding one as well.
This sounds fascinating, and it sounds like it's going to be a beautiful project. And when you're writing, I know a lot of writers don't like to write to music, but do you write to music?
Absolutely. I'm a huge music nerd. Okay. I grew up playing the trumpet until I was about 25. So classical and jazz, but I'm a huge film score nerd as well. And yeah, I have AirPods in pretty much 24/7, and I have different soundtracks and albums that I'm listening to constantly while I'm writing. I can't listen to anything with lyrics while I'm writing dialogue unless I know the album so well that it just becomes white noise to me.
Oh, it makes sense.
But I've written more books than I can count to to Bear's albums over the years. Battlestar and now I'm blanking on everything. 10 Cloverfield Lane is a big one for me. Da Vinci's Demons, and obviously all the God of War stuff, and now the Singularity.
So cool. Well, thank you so much, Kyle. It was really great talking with
My
you.
pleasure.
And have everybody. Where can everybody find the project?
Yeah, so the Singularity, you can find it. The best place for news and information is through Bear's website at bearmccreary.com. You can also go to our website for Black Market Narrative at blackmarket.la. You can see more about all the projects we do. I highly encourage people actually to sign up for our newsletter. We do all sorts of like cool exclusive things there. We do news drops, like behind the scenes stuff on the different projects. So that's probably the best spot.
Cool. Thank you, Kyle.
My pleasure.
Awesome. Great talking with you.
Yeah, you as well.